Are you waiting to start?
Do you have anything fun to start off with, Sandra?
No, we're dog sitting.
How many? Just one?
Just one right now. I don't know where the other two are. They came and picked up the Sprinter van yesterday and took it to San Luis Obispo. I don't know if they took the dogs with them or not, so they left the truck here.
I can't.
Hello.
Oh, Kim's there.
Nice picture, Will.
I know that's their official coach picture.
Oh, it's so fancy. Look how fancy we are now.
Do you guys think he did the mustache on purpose? Like he saved up a mustache just to take
Oh,
the picture?
yeah, he must have. Because I
Yeah,
don't even remember. When did he ever have a mustache?
He had it for like a week and
Oh,
took the picture and then got rid of it.
well, good idea.
that's not our coach. Who's that guy?
That's the manager.
Yeah, that's the manager.
Right.
It's a different person.
No, he's your coach now, Steph.
Yes.
He's not ours.
Oh, wow.
I
He's
don't
there
even.
in spirit
Right.
and can be watching the cameras at all times. But
Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys.
hi.
Are, are we early?
I think we're early. His little
Two
picture,
minutes.
he's not talking.
Okay.
He said 10 after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know where we are with this whole thing. I've not been able to focus until literally today. So
Well, totally get
Oh,
that.
I didn't print today's worksheet. Did he give us a worksheet for today?
Maybe that's what he's working on right now.
And he said he was driving back from Slow or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's this? Wait. No, that was on Friday. Today, I don't know.
It's
Well,
not my
Kim, what have you been able to focus on? I know that you said you really haven't, but I'm sure you've been slightly different than normal, right? At
well,
least just even
I
paying
mean,
attention.
I just try to keep up with all of the messages that you guys send and that kind of thing. It's all about my daughter the last month.
Hmm.
So she left yesterday and
Uh-oh.
yeah, now she's gone for 15 months. So
Oh,
Where did
yeah,
she go?
Philadelphia to
Oh, that's
Boston,
right.
and I don't know where she's going to go after that. We won't know for a year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Philadelphia's okay. Boston's okay.
yeah. The team that went this year went to Nigeria and Mexico. So I don't know where they're going to go next year. We'll see. Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
hmm? So it's hard. It's hard being a mama. It's okay. 3 out of 4 of us on here are empty nesters. So I'm just warning you, Steph. It's like no joke being an empty nester.
I know, I bet because my entire when I'm not working, the remainder of my schedule revolves around my kids, so I can't imagine not having these activities at
Yeah.
some
Oh,
point in my life.
I love it now. I mean, it took me a while, but I love it. And I did soccer, baseball, basketball, all that. But now it's great to just have time with my husband and the dogs. But it took me like a few months to get there.
Hey, Nami.
I think Will's just sent something.
Oh, in the chat?
Maybe.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he did. It's a PDF.
Yeah.
I'll try to print it. Oh, quiet Jagger.
So,
Okay.
Steph, since you're like the co-captain, did I miss? What were the first, what was week 1 and week 2 about?
I have to go back. Wasn't last week about eating quality food? I have to go back and look. I was just in the documents.
Yes.
Oh, I did.
Last week was about quality food.
Okay. And then seeing like kind of getting a sense of the frequency of your meals, how many of them you can try to eat quality meals. So paying more attention to the types of foods you're eating.
Okay.
And it was like he gave us a sheet that was broken down into 3 meals a day and kind of tracking if you are eating quality foods in each of those
right.
meals.
And concentrate on one category. If you want to be really strict, or just watch sugar intake or watch calorie intake or whatever.
Okay.
Something to that effect.
Because I think because well, I mean, at least in trying, right? Like it's not going to be 100% all the time, but then also if you can be 70-80% compliant.
Yeah, that's like week 1 says that, something about 80%. Week 1 focused on that.
Yeah.
So week 1 was quantity and week 2 is quality. Is that what you're saying?
No, week 1 was like just let me see, just like an intro of what we're doing, and then figuring out what your why is. Like, why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Which was very hard to figure out. What was your guys' whys? Because I was out of town that week. I didn't have a why other than I'm older and I just want to keep moving and keep being being able to hike and go on adventures. But I didn't have
why.
A why.
Yeah.
Why? What are you talking about?
That's totally valid.
That didn't feel like the kind of why they were looking for. I don't know.
Well, I'm kind of so confused easily. Was the why supposed to be generally why do we care about our health, or why are we participating in Summer Shred?
I thought it was why are we participating in Summer Shred?
It's supposed to basically distill you at some level of why okay, this is why I'm doing this in particular. And then you keep asking why, and you're like, oh, why do I care about any of this at all? It's kind of the next level, or maybe 2 levels deeper.
Got it.
Yes, like to everything, then there was another why, correct?
Yeah, just keep asking. Basically, just try and keep asking until you're like, I don't have an answer for that. And that's probably pretty close to why you're doing, trying to be a little bit more accountable with your nutrition. And then beyond that, why do you care about fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, accountability, and change, things like that.
Okay. So act like an annoying 2-year-old, asking why until.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right.
But I spent a bunch of time with an annoying 2-year-old this weekend, so that's cool.
Oh, lucky.
She wasn't that annoying, but.
You could have come to my house, Will. I'm up here. I'm like 20 miles from Slow.
Where are you at?
I drove by you. Yeah.
I have a second house in Cambria, so I'm in my house.
I was gonna say, you drive all the way from there to go to the gym. Like you have the right.
She's really committed.
It's a 3-day weekend. It's pretty up here.
Yeah.
It was really nice up there.
And it was really lousy here.
Yeah. Good call.
It was sunny. It's sunny, but like not hot. It's great.
Yeah. All right, let's get started. So typically for those of you that are new to these Sunday chats, the first kind of 10, 15 minutes or so is kind of a review of the previous week, kind of talk about how it went, remind us, talk about why we did it, why that was the focus. Then we talk about why it went, how it went. And then we jump into the upcoming week and we kind of answer questions about that and talk about that. So we'll start with the kind of why behind last week, and why did we start with, for those of you that didn't make it. And I don't know if I did a good enough job of explaining this last week because we were in Santa Barbara and I was kind of rushed as well. Typically what happens is when you focus on higher quality food, you kind of check a lot of boxes that we're going to start talking about in the next few weeks without having to try that hard. Meaning, if you're focusing on, and I've posted a bunch of pictures like this in the WhatsApp chat, if you're focusing on trying to eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables and not processed foods, like the desserts that I keep picking intentionally to share those pictures with, calorie wise, the dessert is not going to fill you up, and it's a ton of calories relative to the fruits and vegetables that are on the plate next to it, that like you couldn't eat all those 370 calories of fruit and vegetables in one sitting because it would make you sick. Because it's like, it's so filling. There's so much food in there, and fiber, and all the other good stuff. Like, eating better options will tend to make people more full faster, and tend to discourage poor choices later. So there's one of them. It's also a calorie thing, like along the same lines, like if you eat that 370 calorie plate of fruits and vegetables, or do it the other way. It's way easier to overeat when you start eating processed, highly palatable, sugar and fat rich, delicious, but not super great for you foods, right? It's very, very easy to overeat that stuff. So that's kind of what we're trying to avoid by the bottom level of the quality week. So RX is beginner level. So I kind of try to do it as a spin off of like the way we approach our workouts. So beginner level is like try and remove added sugars. And it's in an effort to remove added sugar completely. Sugar substitutes are fine, but realistically, kind of like the Whole Life Challenge, it's meant for those people at the beginner level, the kickstart level in that one. It's meant to be a little more of an eye-opening experience than people realize. Like, they don't understand how much stuff is put into. I posted on Pandora's like Chick-fil-A sandwich, like breakfast sandwich. Why do they need to put all that stuff in a sandwich that has eggs and cheese, you know, and a little bit of bread? Like, that stuff is unnecessary. And like, that's everywhere in our food environments, if you will. So quality is a big deal. So intermediate, I forget what it was. It was like, here, let me pull it up. Oh, I have my phone right here.
With me.
Hi, Artie. I know. Did you miss me?
Carbs.
Oh yeah. So try to replace higher processed carbs with less processed carbs. So like instead of pastas and, I mean, technically bread, but bread's on the scheme of things. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with these foods. It's just whole, real foods, less processed is better. And so like along the course of this whole entire thing, we're going to keep coming back to the concept of like, we're not trying to do a complete overhaul in all of your, unless you want it, but that's not necessarily what the purpose of this 8-week accountability thing is. We could do that separate from this chat, or piggyback on it, or in conjunction with, but realistically, this is just meant to be like kind of expose people to different tiers of attention, and then you kind of figure out where you're at, and then maybe potentially reach for a little bit more every week. So that's kind of the idea. So let me pull that up. And then Steph, I think, said it's remove processed carbs, or replace processed carbohydrates with less processed. Cool, here it is. And the RX version was basically whole, real, unprocessed foods. And then the advanced athlete version would be like the Whole Life Challenge lifestyle compliant food pick list. So if you want that, I can send it to you. You can also just Google it. It's super easy to find. So how'd we do? How'd it go? Did anyone really dramatically change how they were eating, or they kind of just use this as a, hey, let's just get back on track kind of a thing?
Well, I went to a restaurant and I definitely got something different than I would normally ever get, because
Great.
I focused on
Step
that.
one.
So yeah, I mean, I was really looking at the menu in a different light. So that was good.
I think for me, this has been ongoing, but since I've been tracking macros, I get a lot more food. And I feel more satiated if I eat less processed things that take up
that's a
less.
big win. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
A lot of the nutrition people I follow that I really like, and people who have done this, and I've worked with people and I've seen people post reviews and stuff, like, people don't realize, like, you get super duper full when you eat more real foods. Like, you are far more satiated, however you pronounce that word, than you would be if you ate like ultra processed foods. So I see it. Hi, babies. The dogs are just staring at me because they haven't seen me all weekend. Hi. What else?
So I've been trying to eat more protein, and I find that it's really slow to eat protein. So when I'm at work and I'm eating as I go, because I don't actually stop to eat, I find that, like, I get hungry because I can't get the protein in fast enough, and I just want the chocolate, just for some energy.
The chocolate? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Because you have to chew the protein.
Yeah.
And the chocolate melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you're eating it slow and you're chewing your food. That was actually one of the posts I shared this week, that it's got a whole bunch of benefits just eating slower, but not to the point that you're still hungry and you're like, that chocolate cookie looks more appetizing. That's kind of an environment thing. Make it harder to get that access to that kind of stuff. You could also do, what's that? Do you do dairy, Tommy?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's this stuff at Costco, Fairlife organic, or maybe it's not organic, it doesn't matter, but they make this like chocolate milk protein drink.
It's so good.
Kind of could, it's super, super good, and potentially could kind of curb that craving. It's a replacement for the chocolate bar or the chocolate cookie or something like that. It's so good.
Is it a powder or is it a drink?
No, it's milk. It's like
Is it in little individual bottles, like single serving bottles?
Yeah.
What does everyone do for snacking? Like, so like all the way till like 3 in the afternoon, everything's easy. And then that's like my witching hour. And then I'm like, it's too early for dinner, but I'm hungry. And like, what can I grab other than like cutting up like celery sticks and carrots? I mean, do you have any other suggestions? Because I get tired of that stuff.
I eat a full meal in between lunch and dinner. That's almost the same size as my lunch.
Like a real, but what would be like
chicken and broccoli, or chicken and salad.
Really?
Yeah.
But then you have to put the effort in to make it.
Sorry, go ahead, Jenny.
I was gonna say, if you want something super easy, another protein shake. And I put like a lot of water, so it's a really big protein shake.
I mean, I know, like, I was talking to Umberto at the gym, like a lot of people use the protein supplements, but like that's not necessary, correct?
It's very difficult to eat the protein that you're supposed to be eating I find it difficult to get enough protein if I'm not having a supplement.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, what about adding like a fruit, like just throwing a bunch of fruit in a blender with a little bit of milk and making like I don't know what you call that. Would that be a solid snack? It would probably be less satiating than if it was Greek yogurt and berries or something like that. That would fill you up better.
Greek yogurt and berries in a blender is really good. And
or just like yogurt with topped
protein.
with berries. Yeah.
Plain,
And then you could
yogurt.
also add, my mom adds protein to her Greek yogurt. I think in the morning, I think that's what she eats as her breakfast.
I use that as either an afternoon or a mid-morning snack, and I get the little Fage, the little, like it's a cup.
Mm-hmm.
I put a serving of the protein powder. It's a scent. I had the lemon something or other, lemon sorbet. Put that in there, mix it up, put in some blueberries, put in strawberries, and that. But if I have it in mid-morning, then I'm not really hungry for lunch. So then my lunch is like at 1 o'clock, because that's 40 grams of protein if you do that. And that really fills you up. And it tastes really good. I mean, it's like lemon pudding with fruit.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like that day, I also was talking to Shibata, and he doesn't use any protein supplements. So, like, I don't.
Yeah, but he also eats a dozen eggs for breakfast.
That's true. He does do that.
And I'm not exaggerating. He eats like 8 eggs for breakfast. So there's a trade-off there.
You can't do that. I went and had my blood tested. I have it tested all the time, but I was on the cholesterol medicine and I was doing really good. But then I started trying to eat more protein, which for me is more eggs in the morning. And my cholesterol went back up in like 3 months. So not bad. I mean, just a little bit, but noticeable enough that I thought, uh-oh. So now I use two egg whites in the carton, the liquid egg white in like a milk carton. I do that, 2 of those and 1 egg, 1 real egg. So I don't know. I'm going to get tested again in a month or so. We'll see if that helped. But it's really hard to eat enough protein. It takes a concentrated effort to get enough protein without killing yourself with cholesterol.
So,
and
let's
kind of address 2 things here. So number one, the theme I keep hearing from all of you guys, and what I am also trying to push is, instead of that smoothie that has a bunch of fruit and a little bit of milk, that is going to be less long-lasting fullness than something that has a little bit more, for lack of a better word, meat to it, like protein and a little bit of fat, right? A higher protein, a little bit of fat is going to be way more filling for longer, depending if it's not like a full meal with a bunch of vegetables and things like that, than something like a bunch of fruit. Oh, darn it, I forgot the other thing I was going to say.
Cindy, she like thinking about the impact of what you're eating, what you're adding to your diet, and so she's getting the protein with the eggs, but it was impacting her in other ways.
So the 0.7 to 1 gram that you hear commonly thrown around right now, 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein that you hear relatively often. Like I say it, it's kind of the buzz numbers around protein goals on a daily basis, pretty much across the nutrition realm right now. That number is like an optimal amount. It's not like you couldn't survive on less. And in fact, most nutrition research studies for a really long time, like basically before I was in grad school, while I was in grad school, and many, many years after grad school, it was 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight was kind of the standard number that they were throwing around, which is it was less than half, 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So they're just trying to optimize lean mass for people who are actively trying to gain it. That's what that number is for. If you're just looking for maintenance, if you're just looking to survive, that number is a little on the higher end than you probably need. So that was the other thing I was going to say.
Well, I have a question. Is there a limit to, because I try to eat a little bit more per 1 pound for my body weight. is there kind of a limit to where that's not beneficial anymore, or like bad? I know not bad, but you know.
Well, so protein still has calories. So it tends to be about 4 calories per gram of protein. So just like any other macronutrient, if you are over consuming and a caloric excess, meaning you are eating more than you need, and it's a substantial amount for a long enough time, you'll gain weight. It doesn't matter the macronutrient. It doesn't matter if you're eating 100% carbohydrates. It doesn't matter if you're eating, simplified science, 100% fat, 100% protein. If you're eating more than you need on a regular basis for a long enough time, going to add weight to your body. It's going to store it because it doesn't need it. So if you're eating within your caloric suggestion, which we're going to get to in a couple of weeks, I don't think it's next week. I think it's the following week, based on MyFitnessPal and or your Body Stuck and or your Fitbit. Like they're all going to be relatively close to each other, probably within less than 5% difference up or down. If you are eating a higher protein diet within your caloric needs, it shouldn't be that big a deal. Now, super high-end protein, like 70% of your diet coming from protein, I don't know. Within reasonable amount, like 30 to 40% of your nutrition coming from protein, you're probably going to be all fine.
Okay, thanks. You answered my question. I'm not eating 70% of my diet in protein.
Yeah. There's like, back in the day, people used to talk about, oh, you're drinking a bunch of protein shakes, you're going to have kidney stuff, or like, it's very, very unlikely. You have to like really, really eat a lot of any one thing for a long time for stuff to have, like, we are pretty resilient, incredible machines at dealing with chaos, I don't know, if you will.
So is the Fairlife protein drink better than the what's the one I'm drinking? Pure Protein?
Better in what sense? The Pure Protein doesn't taste like milk. It tastes like a product, a fake protein thing. Fairlife tastes like milk, and it's delicious.
Okay. And it has the same amount of protein? Because I want to find something.
30 grams.
Okay. It's the same as the other one.
It's probably more, I think it's more expensive per serving, but it's way tastier.
Okay. I'll try that.
There's also research coming out, either E.C. Synkowski talked about it, or what's the guy she liked? There's like two, Alan Aragon or Joey Munoz. One of them posted either last week or the week before. There's research coming out now of like, and we'll also get to this when we get to the nutrient timing week, which is like 6 weeks away from now, but that basically is saying it doesn't matter. It used to be thought that women could only handle maybe like 30 to 40 grams of protein in a single like ingestion and process it. And like anything above and beyond that is like became some kind of a burden somewhere. Either it was added to fat mass, it was peed out, and men is maybe like 40 to 50. That number's been debunked. Like they've basically shown that like a man, because most of the research is done on men, can have 100 grams of protein in a single serving, like a single meal, and none of it is wasted if it's needed. So that's kind of an interesting idea too.
Will, was that original thought, the difference between men and women, was it just purely on gender, or was it also like the size of the person? Like if a man was 120 pounds and a woman was 200 pounds, would that make a difference?
Yes.
Or
it's more of a size thing than a gender thing. Most women, it on average is much easier for a man to be 200 pounds than a woman. Or not, maybe not easier isn't the right way to say that, but like
they could be
weight,
lean, like muscular and lean at 200 and process protein differently than a woman that's muscular and lean. She's probably not going to be 200 pounds as easily.
Right. And it basically comes down to body size, and the 0.7 that E.C. Synkowski is typically recommending. I think it's based on, I haven't had a chance to ask her this, and I've not really delved super deep into the research, but I think it's because the average body composition across male and female tends to be somewhere, and it's 0.7 to 0.8, 20 to 30% body fat. That's kind of the average for the people that we're kind of talking to. Women tend to be a little bit higher, closer to 30, maybe a little bit higher than 30, but plus or minus 30. Men tend to be lower, like 20 plus or minus. I think so. Like if you do the math, 0.7 is basically 30% of your body fat removed. Your body is, if I weigh 200 pounds, that's 140 pounds of lean mass. I'm trying to get 0.7 grams per pound. That's 140 grams of protein. I'm pretty sure that's where that number comes from. So, and the 1 gram per pound is kind of the like, hey, let's just make sure you're getting enough, because most people aren't.
Can you put out like a suggestion for, I hate putting stuff in my body that's not normal, like stuff, but like for something, for like, I guess a protein powder or whatever. And I talked to Colin about it too, and he said I probably should do that also, but I don't know anything about them.
Ascent is my favorite brand.
What?
They theoretically are now.
Can you spell that?
Ascent, like ascend.
Like ASCENT.
Yeah, it's
T
got
as in Tom. Yeah.
Black and yellow and green.
And where do you get that from? Like GNC?
Costco.
Oh, Costco.
Get it at Costco. It's the cheapest at Costco.
Well,
but
I would say
they only have chocolate.
One thing though is if you're not used to drinking protein powders, you need to lower your standards. Like
yeah, don't go into it expecting it's going to be amazing.
It's a protein shake. It's not like a milkshake. So meaning if you taste it and you're like, oh, this tastes kind of like gross. I mean, it's not supposed to make you gag, but it's not a treat. It
tastes like powder in water.
Yeah. So like I mean, just set your expectation.
Ascent is like, as far as they go, one of the most mixable and tastier protein powders there are.
Well, that's why I started putting it in the yogurt, because I didn't like the taste of it, or I didn't like drinking it. So that's why I started putting it in the yogurt. So it's like pudding. I mean, it's really good.
I mean, Stephanie, do you do powder?
I do it in the morning, but I don't like it as much as regular food, and I love food, so I just try to so in the morning, that's what I have it in the morning. And then I was going to ask a question about collagen protein, if you think that that's a suitable substitute, or it should be a supplement to a protein shake you're already having.
Suitable substitute or a supplement?
Meaning, is it equivalent eating like doing like 30 grams of whey protein versus 30 grams of collagen protein? Is it still 30 grams of protein, or is there something nutritionally more complete with 30 grams of whey protein?
I don't think so. I don't think it's exactly the same, similar to like how a pure plant-based protein would be I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Let me look.
Well, but Cindy, I do the protein powder in the morning, and I eat that with fresh fruit. So that's my breakfast every day, regardless of whether I go to the gym. Could you
mix it in a blender with the fruit, and then it would taste?
I get more full eating the fruit whole, so then I'm taking longer to chew it. and I don't want to clean the blender because I'm lazy. And then I end up adding more water in the shaker bottles. So I actually want to slow down my food intake. So if I blend it, then I'm drinking it too fast, and then I'm like not as full feeling. It's probably all in my head.
I've gotten this far in life without ever doing anything not just normal, like I don't take.
So then then just focus on eating like meat protein, like focus on ways to get more protein with just regular food, like whole food and not powder.
My son is also telling me to add the protein, so I'm getting it from multiple places. So I'm now considering it. So thank you for you guys' input.
Sure. I mean, I tried to get my. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Will.
Nope, you finish your thought.
I was trying to get my 12-year-old son to eat more protein because he's like he'll eat the mac and cheese. He's not eating the meal choices are like pasta and butter. There's no protein, very little protein in that. And I was emphasizing like the more you lean toward protein, the more you're going to grow. You're starting puberty and all that stuff. And I tried to get him on protein shakes, and he's like, this is terrible, like because it doesn't taste like a milkshake. And so, but now he sees the impact of leaning more toward protein on his meals, and like he's growing more. So I think it's just even focusing on what do you eat in a meal? Like, what is your typical lunch meal? And what are ways you can, instead of having 2 slices of turkey, you put 4 slices of turkey, and then maybe eat like 1 slice of bread instead of 2 slices of bread. And then you add more turkey instead.
Also, egg whites are really good. I put them in oatmeal if you do that, or like Will said, like having Greek yogurt with the berries instead of milk, like little things that you can add here or there to your normal stuff that will just add more protein. The egg whites and the oatmeal is one of my favorites.
You put egg whites in oatmeal?
Yeah, you cook it. You can cook it with your.
You probably don't even taste them, Mom.
It just doesn't sound good because when you pour the egg white in, and it's like, ew, it grosses me out, but I eat it.
Okay, thank you for good suggestions. I'm really pondering this, so thank you.
So what ends up happening, and this is kind of a good little segue to this week's focus, is what I like to try and do with people. I try not to tell them to start restricting and pulling stuff out. And we'll talk about this again next week. Try to just focus on, and I like to start with protein because I think that's where most people are the most deficient. And they have no idea how much they're supposed to is not a good way to say this. The amount of protein that you possibly might need to, like, quote unquote thrive is like 2 to 3 times how much people are actually probably consuming on a daily basis. Mm-hmm.
Look, if I get a toast bar and after I add protein, then I'm going to be sold.
And so, kind of joking aside along those lines, though, for example, my mom has done nothing really to be super accountable with anything other than protein since her last body spec. Is that correct, Mom?
Correct.
And she gained 3 pounds of lean mass and lost 1 pound of fat mass by only adding more protein to her every day. That's all she did.
And she made it to the semifinals.
Yeah. We're going to call that unless she does it again next year, which she probably will. We're not going to use that as the what's that called when they're Mom, what's it called when they're checking the lines in England? Those fake lines. It's like water. Oh my gosh, come on. Water divination?
I don't know what you mean. Fake lines.
They're like these supposed like magnetic lines that determine, like, if you're standing on top of one, it changes the way you're feeling and the way the world works. Oh my God, I'll figure this out.
A divining rod looking for water?
Yes. Isn't it water divination? Okay,
yes,
no one knows what I'm talking about, so it doesn't matter.
But it's really hard. What I have found, it's really hard to get even up to 0.7 grams of protein. So that's why I end up drinking the shakes, because I eat 3 meals a day, but then you still need more. So I drink a shake because I'm not hungry. I mean, I'm eating and I'm really not hungry. So I'm like, what I can do is drink something that's easier than eating more, because you're like, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat.
Yeah, and like basically a lot of this stuff, when you're basically relearning how to eat. Like if you're so this week, the hand portion control is kind of how we're going to try and start building our meals and our plates before we're even talking about quantities of protein, even though we've kind of already jumped into there. So basically, it's palm size is a serving of protein, and or palm size is a serving of protein, and very probably, depending on how big you are, you need like 4, depends on what your goals are and where you're at, but like 3 to 5, 4 to 6 of those a day. So that's like 1.5 at each meal. That comes out to be somewhere around 30 to 50, depending on how big your palm is, grams of protein. Just eating that alone is very difficult. Like I cannot eat that. I get very full very fast. When I'm eating, I try to eat the protein first, then I eat the vegetables second, and then if there's any room left, I'll do like the rice and carbs or whatever left is there. But I get full really fast. So yeah, there's palm-sized protein. There's a cupped hand worth of vegetables. 1 to 2 of those per meal as well.
A fist.
Oh, excuse me, a fist.
Yes. Yeah, vegetables.
Cupped hand is carbs.
Hand is carbs, right?
Yeah.
And when it says carbs, like let's piggyback on what we did last week. We're trying to move away from pastas and grains and things. Not that they're the worst choices in the world, but they're potentially are better, more nutritious, potentially less inflaming. I don't like that. Unless you have celiac, it's probably not a big deal. But like things like that. But let's just pretend. A sweet potato still is probably a better option. It's a little bit more whole food. It's got its own sets of vitamins and minerals. It's an adequate source of carbohydrates, things like that. And then a some-sized serving of fat, so like a quarter of an avocado or something like that. A small handful, like a pinch handful of mixed nuts or something like on top of the salad, something like that. That's kind of how you should be designing your meals. And I think that's what this wrote, what I wrote here. Let's have a look.
I can already tell you I eat too much fat.
How are you eating the fat? In like fatty meat cuts, or like where does the fat come in?
Not necessarily fatty meats, but nuts, because sometimes I'll just eat
That's
a handful.
Stephanie's problem.
Huh?
Not
That's
right
Stephanie's
now.
problem.
But yeah,
Yeah.
for me, I go down a slippery slope way too easily, and it's just easier for me to say right now, I'm gonna find alternative sources of snacking besides meat. I mean, besides nuts, because nuts, like I can't just do like 2 almonds. I end up doing a handful.
Yeah.
And that was like way too much.
Or like, well, I use a lot of butter when I cook.
Mhm.
Like when I cook my eggs, I use a lot of butter, so I know that's a lot of fat. But I don't know. I just do. I'm trying to cut back, but I'm not doing
And
such.
so one of the weeks here, so the point is you still made a bunch of progress though in the past, whenever your body spec was this last one, right?
That's what I was concentrating on. So now I'm trying to refine that and maybe make better choices of my protein, because when I went and I had higher cholesterol, well, because I was trying to eat a lot of protein and I was eating a lot of red meat too, because I'm like, I can't eat chicken at every meal, so I'm going to have a steak. So now I have to kind of refine that and find better sources of protein than a nice juicy steak.
Yep.
Well, you can make chicken so many different ways because we're a chicken only house mostly. So you can there's so many ways to make chicken.
Yeah. It's still chicken.
And eventually you get over it. Like eventually you're just like you're the Stephanie Thomas of the office.
You're eating microwave broccoli and plain grilled
flavorless,
chicken over
seasonless
rice.
You know
chicken
what?
breast
But
over plain rice.
Steph going through life in a coma because she's got kids and can't think.
Well, also, like, one thing that helps is that when you don't think of every meal as like an event, like it's just the time that I'm eating the food I need to eat to get to the next stage of the day. So when you think about it, it's like an assignment. I need to complete this meal to get to the next thing. It's not as much about like, I need to eat a really delicious meal right now. I just need to consume the protein that I need to get to the next part of my day.
We need to separate emotion from, I mean, maybe not completely separate it from, because like that's a huge component of why we go out to eat with each other and why certain foods are called comfort foods. I mean, seriously, right? There's a reason, there's emotion and experience to food that we shouldn't completely remove, but it also shouldn't be all the time. Like that should be reserved for very special things, because when we start saying it has to look perfect on the plate, it has to be postable in the Summer Shred chat. When you get down that road, it's like, you're not going to do that forever. Sorry, it's not going to last. We have to find sustainable habits that are going to last.
Yeah. Well, we're doing more fish and salmon that smoked salmon.
Can you quantify what a fist of vegetable is? Like you said that a palm of protein is like 30 to 50 grams of protein. What is a fist? Like more like tangible measurement.
Like, would it be like a cup?
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit more than a cup. Like if I put my fist, if I chopped up bell pepper in a cup, my fist would be more than a cup. It would be like 2 pieces of fruit, or like half a chopped up bell pepper and
squash. Half of a squash, maybe.
Squash is good, yeah, because it's full. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2. I would say 2 cups of vegetables at every meal, and that lends itself into the next late macro discussion anyway. So let's just say 2. Make it easy.
And for the carbs, a cup, is that like less than a cup?
A cupped hand is probably
like a quarter cup. A measurement,
yeah,
a quarter cup measurement.
Maybe like a quarter to a half, or a third to a half.
But what's a better carb than, so not rice and pasta's not as good, but like, a baked potato or a sweet potato or better carbs?
Sure, as long as it's not like half a stick of butter on it,
Yeah, well, it is, but that's like, another problem.
Corn is a carb that I like, and it's like if you're cutting corn, like fresh corn, and then it's cut, it's like a grain technically, right? But it's got fiber in it.
I actually had corn yesterday. I haven't had corn in a really long time off the cob. It was so good. Oh my gosh.
That's good.
Have you guys eaten in Persian restaurants and ordered, and when they give you the rice and it's like 10 pounds of rice that comes with your food, and it's like loaded with butter?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's super good.
They also give you a whole onion. Who eats that?
I
do.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, the weirdos.
But that kind of thing is really hard. If I ordered Persian food for takeout and then I was eating the protein, it's very difficult for me to limit the serving to like a quarter cup of cooked rice, because it's just so good. And then you just like, oh, another spoonful, and then you've got like a mound on your plate, and you just ate like probably 600 calories worth of rice.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good kind of segue to the Stephanie's nuts, my mom's nuts, and butter. I cannot, the rice at that meal, if at all possible, the slippery slope foods, that would be something that I would say, hey, you probably, especially when you're trying to make some serious change, get them away from you. Make it really, really tough for you to get your hands on that kind of stuff because it's so easy to overeat stuff like that. For me, it's ice cream. I can't do it. I mean, I probably could, but
It's too hard.
I choose not to.
Yeah.
I eat the whole pint every single time, every time, without fail. Actually, that's not true. A week ago, I ate 1/3. I ate a serving because I served it out and then put the rest of it away. And the next day I went back and finished the other 2/3. So it was still too much.
Isn't gelato better for you than ice cream?
No idea.
I don't think so. I don't think it is.
Something about gelato that makes it.
I think it's like whether there's egg or there's some added ingredient in it, or like the ratio of sugar to fat or something.
One is made with cream, one is milk.
And gelato's cream, right?
I think. Yes.
Well, the Talenti macros are not great.
Oh, yeah. What are you talking about? They're so good. For my stomach growing larger.
Which also, by the way, if I eat the amount of vegetables we're supposed to be eating, because I tried that for a couple of days, my stomach hurt so bad from digesting all that fiber.
Yeah.
That you have to build up to that amount of vegetable. You can't just cold turkey start eating a whole pile of vegetables.
It also might be, and it doesn't have to only be vegetables. It could be fruit and vegetables, right? And technically next week, EC Synkowski allows beans as part of the 800 gram challenge, primarily focused on fiber. But what was I going to say? Oh, and you should also be trying to eat different vegetables. So maybe it's just like you can't eat a pound of broccoli. Maybe you can have half a pound of broccoli and a 1/4 pound of carrots and a 1/4 pound of leafy greens. Like it could be just the what you chose. Like Stephanie's stomach doesn't like certain vegetables, so she stays away from them completely. But it literally like hurts her. So it could just be something that you're not ready for. So vary it up as much as you can.
And I've been trying to the easiest thing is like picking one thing, like microwaving broccoli or green beans. It's fast. It's not really sexy, but it gets the job done. But if you have the time, taking broccoli and carrots and mushrooms and zucchini and mixing multiple vegetables together, even mixing 3 vegetables together, and then prepping multiple meals worth, like even to eat over the course of a few days, then you already have the side dish ready and you've got like a variety of vegetables. So you're not eating like a pound of broccoli all at once.
Oh, green beans are so good. Now I want green beans and I don't have them at my house.
There's markets there. You can go to the market.
No,
Okay, so let's wrap this up. So if you look at the page, the checkoff page, beginner level, it's beginning. And I actually, it's kind of funny. I focus on fruits and vegetables instead of palms of protein, but whatever. 2 fifths of fruits and vegetables at each meal. So basically trying to get close to around 6 cups of fruits and vegetables every day. Intermediate level would be fruits and vegetables plus trying to get as much protein as you can, 1 to 2 palms worth of protein per meal. RX version would be intermediate level plus limiting quality fats to 1 to 2 grams worth. So basically just like paying a little bit more attention to like general quantity, even though we're not specifically addressing like, this is 100 grams of cooked chicken breast and it is X amount of grams of protein. We're not quite there yet, but we're going to start looking at thinking about amounts of food and trying to pay attention to that too. And then let's come back to that. And then advanced, for those of you that are ready for that, you've basically got the quality down and you're ready to kind of like attack. Your meal plates look pretty good. Limiting the starchy carbs to around your training. So we'll get to this later. So if you want to know more about that, we can talk about it. But what was I going to say?
How many servings of fat are you supposed to have a day?
Of what?
Fat. How many are you allowed, supposedly?
Barely anything.
Yeah, fats add up really freaking quick. Like a serving of almonds is like 13 almonds, and it's like 16 or 18 grams of fat. And I think I get, which I'm bigger than all of you, I only get, my Fitness Pal says, I get like 80 grams or something like that at the most. Yep. 75. I get 75 grams of fat. So like one serving of almonds is 1/5 of my fat for the day. That's why nuts are so dangerous.
But also like the other foods you're eating also have fat in them. So like if you're eating chicken thigh, there's fat in chicken thigh. If you're eating salmon, there's fat in salmon. So it's not like that's only a protein. It's also the kind of, or if you eat a ribeye, there's lots of fat in that.
And Nutella, banana, that's fat.
It's also fruit. It counts as a serving of fruit.
That's why I was like, okay, I'm going to have fruit. Oh, I could have Nutella on that fruit.
Now you know why I can't say no to a pint of ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cookies
on Nutella,
always in the house.
On Nutella, Sandra,
I can't hear anyone anymore.
Almond butter and then you melted like a few chocolate chips in it, I feel like that maybe is healthier than Nutella. Like I end up doing that for Carson on his bagels. Almond butter with like 1 or 2 little like melted chocolate chips swirled around. You get the chocolate flavor, but it probably doesn't have as much like other crap in it.
Oh
yeah.
So bad for you. Nutella is bad.
It tastes good.
You can make your own Nutella. I have a recipe for your own Nutella if you want it with hazelnuts.
In it.
I won't make it.
There's a mama turkey with 7 babies across the street from me right now. So I'm very distracted.
Cool.
Is that your dinner, Cindy?
Yeah,
exactly.
She's scoping
it out.
they're so little.
Grab some for me.
They're so tiny, these babies. I can't believe the Hawks aren't just getting them.
Not enough protein.
Yeah, they passed on them. Cool. Any questions about what we're trying to get after this week? So basically, you're trying to make your portions for each of those meals following the quality levels. And this is the beginning of the discussion about quantity.
I have a question, Will.
Yeah.
If you like know you're not gonna get a palm or a handful of protein with breakfast, are you supposed to like double it for lunch or dinner? Like you have to make it up somewhere?
Yeah, you can. You can. Try to spread it out as much as you can. So like, I already mentioned that it's not wasted if it's above a certain amount. But I would imagine that if you can have a more balanced input across the day, it probably would appreciate that better and deal with it better.
Plus,
Probably.
it's hard to
barely get to it.
Huh?
Yeah, it's so hard, Becca.
It's like I can barely get to like my goal amount of protein. And that's if I don't miss anything. That's like if I drink a protein shake and eat a protein bar, because otherwise I'll be at like half of what I should be getting because I don't eat enough like food protein. So it's like if I miss one of those, then I'm like, oh my God, then the day is like, then I'm at like 2/3 of where it should have been. So it's like if I know I'm gonna miss something, I feel like I need to add like another protein shake or I should add real food, but like another something, because it's hard for me to spread it out. Like I know the breakfast is not gonna happen. So I need to like come up with something else, like a double lunch or like another snack that's like a protein snack.
See, like a Greek yogurt and protein powder in the Greek yogurt with some berries on top.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
¿Qué más? Okay, you got the chat, you got my number, you got each other. I'll see you guys. I'll see a lot of you tomorrow for Murph.
Thank you,
What?
everyone.
Have fun.
For brunch?
Just show up at 7:45, Sandra. You won't regret it.
Good luck with
Bye,
that.
everybody.
I'll see you Tuesday.
Bye.
We'll see.
Bye.
Bye.